Newcastle 3, Chelsea 0. A disgraceful performance, a disgraceful result, and to be honest, a quite fitting end to a very, very poor season for Chelsea Football Club. Today was absolutely out of fucking order. Well, hello there guys, welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Newcastle vs Chelsea match. And like I just said, we lost 3-0. And that's just great, isn't it? Just a perfect way to end the season. All the other teams won, so no matter what we did, we wouldn't have gotten top 4, so it really didn't matter. But the performance itself and the effort shown today was just absolutely ridiculous and just out of order. The lineup in the first place, we started with a 3-5-2. Courtois goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Cahill at the back. Why on earth was Rudiger dropped? What did he do to deserve? That makes no sense. Christensen fucks up against Newcastle, against Huddersfield, for us to concede, and then Rudiger gets dropped. Makes no sense. And Emerson started left wing back, which I was fairly happy about. Moses on the right, as the right wing back. Kante, Bakayoko and Ross Barkley is the three midfielders. I said yesterday that Ross Barkley should start. I didn't think he would start in a 3-5-2. I didn't say he should start in a 3-5-2, but he did. And then it was Hazard and Giroud up front. But, originally I was quite happy and quite alright with it, especially to see Barkley and Emerson start. But, at the end of the day, it was just a bit dumb. What was it? We did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Especially the first half was just an absolute disgrace. To be honest, the whole game was. But the first half in particular. In the first half an hour, we had less than 40% of the ball against Newcastle. And zero shots in the whole of the first half. Not even no shots on target. No shots, full stop. And half of the players had less than 80% pass completion. Less than 80% pass completion rate for half of the players in our team. And, you could probably say Courtois and the three centre-backs probably had more than 80% because they, play easy passes usually. Everyone else probably had less than 80%. And that's just ridiculous. What are we doing? The first half was basically all Newcastle, multiple chances for them, before they then eventually scored in the 23rd minute when basically Victor Moses fell asleep. And Gale headed in from close range after Courtois made a good save to somehow keep, a lob over him, over the line, out of goal basically. And then just some more chances for Newcastle, and that was then basically at half-time at 1-0. And like I said in my preview already, I thought at half-time the same, I thought the same thing. We need to change to 4-2-4, because what we were doing really wasn't working. But, of course, there were no changes at half-time. The only thing that it did look like is that we changed to a 3-4-3 with Barkley on the right wing rather than Barkley as part of the midfield. But I'm not sure whether that was just a momentary, thing that I saw, or whether that was constant because, my streams kept mucking up and it was very blurry at times. So please excuse me here if I'm wrong. Generally, to be honest, the second half, the start of it, was a lot better. In the 52nd minute, couldn't you believe it? We finally had a first shot. And it hit the target as well. Mental. When Giroud got a cheeky backheel on a Barkley cross, but the keeper made a great save to keep the ball from going over him into the far corner. But basically, that was it for our good efforts. Almost anyway. Because then in the 59th minute, Newcastle made it 2-0. Newcastle attacked down the left. The cross is then followed by terrible clearance by Bakayoko. Terrible. Right to Shelby at the edge of the box. Who has a goal? Ayoze Perez got a tiny touch, to the ball, to the shot, just before Christensen to steer it into the bottom corner. The defending, the movement, the positioning was just all over the place. We can't even clear a ball. We cannot even clear a ball. How can we score goals? How can we complete passes if we can't even clear a ball? How is that meant to work? Oh yeah, and then Ross Barkley actually missed the sitter in the 80s. Oh yeah, and then Ross Barkley actually missed a sitter in the 62nd minute. Absolute sitter. His effort from inside the 6-yard box after a low cross Hazard was saved by the keeper with his leg. The keeper saved it. How can you miss from inside the 6-yard box? You're not Morata, are you? Bloody hell. It would have been 2-1. Maybe we could have come back. Probably not. But maybe it would have looked somewhat better anyway. Because a minute after that, we conceded a third goal from a set piece, from a free kick on the right. That we literally defended like 5-year-olds, like bloody 5-year-olds. A long ball to the other side of the area, to the left side of the area, where Lejeune was in acres of space, absolutely acres of space. I don't know who was meant to cover him. I don't know whether we even intended to cover him, but he had acres of space. And then put in a low cross, first time, fair play to him. That was a good cross. Low crossed it first time, back into the middle basically. And Ayoze Perez tapped it in from close range. And we was just all over the place. That was 3-0. And that was 63 minutes gone? Bloody hell. And it took Conte until the 77th minute when we were 3-0 down. Fair enough, at 3-0 you might as well not do anything because it's over anyway, especially knowing the other results. But in the 77th minute he thought, let me make some subs, mate. Still didn't change to a forward at the back and attack some. Nah. He just brought on Morata for Giroud and Willian for Barkley. And then a little bit later he brought on Pedro for Hazard. And nothing happened. The game was just dead. Newcastle, there was a few counter-attacks in there and nothing happened. That was just it, a 3-0. And we lost 3-0 Newcastle. I mean, could we have some more big defeats by smaller teams? Watford, 4-1. Bournemouth, 3-0. Newcastle, 3-0. What on earth are we doing this season? Like I said, a disgraceful performance, especially in the first half, a disgraceful result, disgraceful defending, a disgraceful effort by the team, really. And I'm not usually one to say, we lost because the players didn't try and didn't fight. But today, especially in the first half, exactly that was the case. From the first second, there was no intensity, no drive, no real effort to win the game. When remember, there was still a theoretical chance of getting top 4. None of the players that started should be allowed to leave. Are they to request to leave because they want to have Champions League football? Because in that first half, you just showed that you don't even want, Champions League football. Because if you did, you would have at least tried. And you didn't try. Oh yeah, and by the way, Liverpool beat Brighton 4-0 and Spurs won 5-4 against Leicester. So even if we had won both games against Huddersfield and Newcastle, we still would have finished 5th. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And I'm not sure why I'm as angry as I am. Well, I know because of their performance. But, it really wouldn't have made a difference whether we won 3-0 or lost 3-0. But still, and to top it off, to make it even worse, City scored a 94th minute winner to score 100 points this season. I mean, they already broke our record of the, point record of 95 points. But now they have 100 points. That's even worse. That's even more annoying, basically. To have a tiny bit of positivity in that, there is one player I want to give a little bit of praise to, and that is Ross Barkley. He wasn't incredible. No, he wasn't. No one was. But he was pretty good. Yes, he missed that sitter, and he should have done a lot better there. But generally, I thought he was quite alright, especially considering he hadn't played for months, like months and months and months. I have to say fair play to him. Actually, Thibaut Courtois was decent. He was good actually. He made some very good saves and I can't fault him one bit, to be honest. Everyone else though had either no movement when teammates required, movement by their, teammates to complete the pass. Had poor touches, wrong decisions, overcommitting into tackles, everything bad you can imagine. We did today, especially in the first half. Everything bad a football team can do, we did in that first half. It was just awful. Just a disgraceful and embarrassing end to a poor Premier League season. The formation was a joke. Resting players today and resting them against Huddersfield as well was a joke. Oh yeah, and there's one of you constantly writing under every video that we have to play 3-5-2 because we basically win every game with 3-5-2 and we lose everything in 3-4-3. Are you sure, mate? Are you sure we really should play 3-5-2 all the time? Like, we didn't lose many games by three goals. Like, yes, we lost 2 using 3-4-3, to be fair. But we also lost today using 3-5-2, and we lost 3-0. So, I'm really not sure that was the formation to go with. I'm pretty sure we should just play 4 at the back, but to be honest, maybe that wouldn't work either, because at the moment it's just all over the shop. As you can see, I am very angry, but at the same time, I'm just numb. Because it was so bad, but the whole season has been so bad, with a few exceptions here and there, and it was so bad, I was just sat there, like, what on earth is going on? Almost finding it funny to an extent, because it was just ridiculous. Like 3-0 at Newcastle. Yes, Newcastle at home are a good side. But 3-0 as Chelsea, as the champions of England. As the champions of last season anyway. Because City already, are the champions, of course. But still, like, it's just ridiculous. And in my opinion, we need a new manager. Conte doesn't want to be here. The club doesn't want him here. And a lot of fans don't want him here either. So what's the point of keeping him? There's no point. I get the stability thing that some fans, bring up. But don't forget, Conte is not going to stay longer than his contract is. And that ends next season. What difference is it going to make if we keep a manager for 1 more year? It doesn't make a difference if we sack him now or get rid of him next season. It's not going to make a difference except that we probably have a worse season next season with Conte than we'd have with a different manager. Maybe be decent, you don't know. But he's going to leave for sure next season. Like when his contract expires, he doesn't want to stay here any longer than his contract. So what's the point? Why do we have to keep him now just for stability? Stability for 1 more year. I don't see the point in that at all. I don't see it. And we need some new players. But mainly, we need to get rid of some dead wood. Like, there's just so much dead wood lying around, and that's just taking up squad places and taking it from loanees and taking it from youth players that should be involved. Like I said, bring back some loanees, use the youth. We have to, because it was just ridiculous. And yes, we have a final to play in a week's time, and I will be there myself. I'm flying out to England on Wednesday. And if Conte comes up with some stupid shit, like leaving Hazard out or something dumb, I'm going to absolutely flip my shit. Because, come on, at least for that game, at least try to get it right. But I still want to mention that quickly. Today wasn't just down to Conte. It really wasn't. Because the players didn't try. Like I said earlier, from the first minute, there was nothing from them. Especially in the first half. Absolutely nothing. Not like they even cared about possibly hoping to get top 4. You can criticise the manager. You can criticise tactics. You can criticise formations. You can criticise, the players he picks. But those players he does pick should at least try, and they didn't today. So as much as, blame has to go for Conte over the season, and, in some games especially, today was also, and in my opinion, mainly down to the players, because that was a joke. Absolutely ridiculous. But coming back to my point about the final, we can lose the final. But I expect Conte to try his best and the players to give it their all. Like, you know, sometimes it's not your day. Sometimes it's not your day and you can accept it. But for us, for some reason, that's never the case. We don't just lose because we got unlucky. The only situation that maybe was the case was United away when we had, you know, Morata's goal disallowed that should have stood. But even then, you had Conte taking off Hazard for no reason, way too early on. And, you know, every time we have something that just doesn't make sense, that harmed us in our chances of winning the game, whenever we do have a poor result. And it's ridiculous. But right now, I can't imagine how we're going to beat United. But to be honest, I also didn't think we would beat Liverpool. So what do I know? What do I know? It would just be typical, actually. If all of a sudden, we proper turn up and beat United in the final. I hope we do. I really hope we do. To give us some good moments anyway. And I really feel for all of those guys that did travel up to Newcastle, especially the ones that travelled up today as well, and don't even have a night out up there. Some, you know, the lot of Louis and Lewis and all sorts, they went up yesterday, had a good night out as it seems yesterday. So they had their good time anyway. But especially the ones that travel today, like how shit you have to feel. We all love our teams. But when you see something like that, you travel all this way to Newcastle and then the team performs like that and does nothing, especially in the first half. You just said that, I mean, I spent my hard-earned money here, like all of them do. I'm spending my hard-earned money to fly to England, to get the tickets, ridiculously expensive FA Cup tickets. You know, it's a joke. And you have to see them try. Okay, maybe we can lose. I wouldn't be happy if we lost to United, but we have to bloody try. And, you know, I really hope we do win. Whether we can or not, different story. This is really it for me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game. Do you agree with me? Was it as bad as I'm making it out to be? Let me know down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video. You know, leave a like if you're happy the Premier League season is over, because I really couldn't do any more of it. I'm just kind of looking forward to the World Cup, really, after the FA Cup final. I've had enough of it at the moment. I just had enough. Also, don't forget to check out my social media, which is last 1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, I would massively appreciate it if you could follow me over there. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. And also click that notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads if you haven't done that yet. Because if you don't, you know, you will only know about half the videos, and that's just a bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, the Premier League season is over. It really wasn't a good one. We finished 5th. We're in the Europa League next season. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll always support the Chelsea because Chelsea is our team and we'll be here next season. Even in the Europa League and in the Premier League and everything, no matter what manager we have, no matter what players we have, we will always be here. All of us fans will. And yeah, it's still tough. It's still tough. But yeah, up to Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.